This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by
Freaking.com.
Okay, it's time for me to ask a question that may not be a real popular question, but it's been getting bigger in my mind over the last weeks and months. Really, it's been getting bigger ever since the Katrina crisis. It's conventional wisdom among libertarians, pro-liberty thinkers, that we want the troops to come back from Iraq. And I have wanted that for a long time. Since July of 2003 is the first time I ever wrote about saying that I think we need to get them out of there. And I've felt that way for years, but something started to change when Katrina happened. What will these troops do when they come back? And they're still maybe in the military and whatnot. Will they come through our front doors? They did in 2005. The troops that we brought back from Iraq in 2004 and 2005, some of them came through our front doors to take our guns while we were home. Not criminals' guns, just people's guns who just happened to have houses who were near a hurricane. That's what the U.S. troops did, who came back from Iraq. Now, I've always thought of myself as being sort of a ticker tape thrower. I've always been very pro-military in the past, but I watched Band of Brothers just like everybody else. But Katrina changed my thinking, and it changed millions of Americans' thinking about the military. When they come home, well, like for instance, there's a military division, I guess an army division, that's already been assigned to the United States, almost as though the United States were a hot zone. And one of the purposes that they've tasked to this unit is the quelling of unrest. They're not saying that that's what they're planning on using it for necessarily, but that's one of its possible uses. If you don't believe me, click on the video description for this clip, and as long as I don't forget, I will put a link there to some of the mainstream media articles on this. But my source on that was the Army Times. I've had now at least 4 different conversations with military personnel, both generals and foot soldiers, about this issue. Would you come through my front door? And I have to tell you that 3 out of those 4 conversations were very disturbing. I talked to both National Guard generals in New Hampshire. There's a new one now that I think came into office in 06 or 07. I talked to him about it. I talked to his predecessor about it. Both of them gave me disturbing answers when I asked them if they would come through my front door. They seemed to either indicate that, oh, that never happened, or yes, I would come through your front door under certain circumstances against your consent. I was just very disturbed by that, also disturbed by a conversation I had with a young soldier who was going into the military. Let me just have this conversation with you. If you're considering going into the military, maybe you should start thinking about what it is you're going into. Maybe you're not going into the Battle of the Bulge. Maybe you're not going in and get an education out of it. Maybe you're going in to control the American people. Maybe that's what the military will be used for, because they certainly are putting the pieces in place. I would just urge you, if you're thinking about going into the military, just make sure that that's not what you're going to do. Do some research of your own. Decide for yourself whether you think that's a risk, that you could really be deployed against your own friends and relatives. That's something to consider before going into the military. It's Dave Ridley signing off for RidleyReport.com. This December 19th, 2008. Looking forward to the day when we can again think of our military as our protector.
Keene, New Hampshire, the capital of libertarian civil disobedience. The folks over at Freaking.com believe this is the place you should be if you believe in peaceful non-cooperation. Freaking.com invites you to the beautiful hills of western New Hampshire and invites you to join their peaceful evolution. Freaking.com